Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Daniela, my partner is Isabel Garcia, and we're going to present you why it is necessary to implement field trips in chemical engineering.
Field trips.
Field trips
Thank you.
in chemical engineering program. Okay, first of all, the problem is that there is no field trips in chemical engineering program. So our purpose here is to expose you the mainly advantage to promote field trips in the formation process of a chemical engineer student. Okay, and this one, as a context, we first of all are going to make a little context of the lesson and the subject. Then the problematic, which is the absence of field trips. Then the proposal, the justification, the benefits, and data support, and to find in the end we're going to explain the conclusion. Okay, the context, first of all, we have four mainly courses, which are engineering reactions, unit operation, separation process, and process plant design. These four courses are taken at the last semester of chemical engineering program, and each one of these subjects have labs, except process plant design. In these labs, the main objectives are experimentally demonstrate the concept of kinetics, physics, chemical, many concepts, or study complement the topics seen in the class or in the book, something theoretical, and finally analyze the influence of any variable. And the real knowledge that we get of this lab and the subject are a review of theoretical concepts and understand the reasons of chemical or physics laws. And I'm not saying that this is bad, but it is not enough to our integral of education.
So for us, the problematic, there is absence of a pilot plant. So as my partner said, we have laboratory activities. This implies that we work with equipment in a small scale, but in the chemical industry we are going to work with equipment in a larger scales that have different implications about the safety, because there is a leak in the laboratory with a leak speaker, different of tower destillations that have where the level of the liquid increases to spill out and affect the plant, the people, and the environment. So for us, the proposal is to implement at least one field trip in each of these fundamental subjects. For example, for engineering of the reaction, we should go to a company, a business that use a reactor. For example, in this field trip, we can learn about what are the conditions to avoid a runaway reaction that basically implies that the reactor goes a high pressure and high temperature that can produce a fire and explosion or a release of high hazardous chemical. And for example, for unit operations, we can focus in basic stuff in a business or company, even in university that use specific equipment like pumps and heat exchangers, and we can know or learn to how to identify what are the cases of the problems of this equipment, like cavitation, that is where is error in the pump, or when the heat exchanger is fouled, for example, it's just obstructed with solids or another stuff that implies that the heat transfer decreases and we don't get the temperature that we need. For separation process, I think that it's important to know what is the size of the towers distillation that we use in the real industry, because there have implications on control and safety that is important for the healthy, the plant, the people, and the community near to the company. And for the process plant designs, we can get a general idea what are the plans of emergency or the actions that we have to do to avoid or minimize the danger of the hazard of the different situations like explosions, fires, or a toxic release. So the purpose of this presentation is that the implementation of the field trip gives us preliminary information on safety, initial professional orientations to specific fields in the chemical industry, and the most important is that we are going to have a real perspective of the chemical industry. And so the justification of this proposal is that we are going to complement the theoretical approximation and applications that we learn in these subjects with challenge, because we are going to get the knowledge and information needed in the real life to solve problems in the chemical industry, and also we are going to have a background in ethical and social responsibility.
Okay. Some benefits. If the student could have a close-up view on the large-scale operation units, we could see an industrial and practical perspective on the theory taught in lectures. Also, understand overall process and material involved in the production of chemical, food, or any other product. And finally, we can acquaint ourselves with new technologies, some might not be covered in the classroom lectures or teachings. Here we can see some examples. In the image you can see a bulb and the pump. When we see that in the presentation of our teacher, he is trying to explain us the behavior of the fluid with those images. However, in the industry, these pumps or these instruments could be, or the size of this can be much bigger than our thought. This is an image that you can see in our textbooks about a pump. The pump, as I said, it tries to explain us the behavior of the fluid, what it happens, the differential of pressures, and more stuff. And in the industrial, there is not only the pump, there is a transistor and a motor, and these all three equipment have to be connected and to work. And the other example is a reactor. This is an image that we can easily find in a book, which explains the behavior of the reaction, the kinetics, and the fluid. And in the lab, we can take a new idea of this process. But in the industry, this reactor or these tanks could have 10 meters or more size. Okay, for data support, first of all, we have many universities in Europe to promote these field trips. One of them is College of Engineering in Qatar, which is in Malaysia. And in this image we can see a group of students to go to a field trip. Here in Colombia we have not so much industry as we would like, but there are some that are big. And as an example is American Student, which is in Cartagena, and it works with this university for different types of investigation. However, there have never been a field trip to this plant. Traditional universities are based more in theoretical basis, but nowadays there have been new trends to promote this kind of trip and to promote the knowledge, including more hand-of operation for more empirical. This is why, or the reason why heuristic is so important in manufacturing or in industrial companies.
We've got some examples, like cases that are personal comments with partners that have or did internship in a company, a business. So they say that it was shocking in the first life, see a bulb in the real life, see a tower that have more than 10 or 20 meters, and all that danger that it implies. Also, they have an initial formation because some they say, I never work in a petrochemical or pharmaceutical industry. I would love to work in food industry. So also the internship give them background and information and knowledge about some specific aspects of a particular field in the chemical industry. For example, I have a friend that actually is doing an internship in a food industry, and he knows the basis and the equipment and the basic process to do cookies, soap, beer, and other beverage. So he's start to think that he has the elements enough to give the master course in the university to specialize in a design products. So in this way he can get their own business or their company to produce something that he knows how it's supposed to do. Also, when we talk with them, they say that the presidents and the owners of the journals are looking for engineers that not also have the theoretical approximations, but have the information about safety and system controls, because they have to take account with any engineers that have that information, that have that skills, because the other things that we have to do is solve problems, minimize the dangers, avoid all these terrific situations, the fires, explosions, or release, that for the company or the business implies a really amount of money, and for us is the end of the career. So for conclusions, these activities, the field trips, are important to complement the theoretical optimization and the application in the design, the equipment, design the process, or design for an entire plant, because we have to take account the consequence about the health, the safety in the environment and the community, and what are the best process and the products for our society. So, or for a phrase to conclude, we can say that there is no better way that involves like a students undergrad in the industry, like with practical training or exposure industrial.
Okay, questions for the two. I'll call on myself first and then Aaron. The most obvious question is, you are very convincing. Why are there no field trips? The anthropologists tell me it's because of safety reasons. If you're in the middle of the jungle, it's dangerous. But I can't imagine that's the case with chemical engineering.
We think that the reason is that there is the possibility to do an internship, but it's a whole semester. We can study other subjects, and for me it's not well, because maybe we can implement the other internship that have another engineers that have a half time, so we can work and we have at least 3 or 2 subjects, and give us the parallel between being a student and work, and we are going to get enough experience. So I think that the department doesn't imply field trips obligatory, because there is that option for us.
Okay, all right, Aaron.
During the whole career, you didn't go to any plant?
No, so in obligatory in the subjects, there is no this option. Maybe you can, there is an organization, again, that they organize field trips, but they connect with us, but there is like another side with the university. It's different. The university doesn't have that initiative for us. They don't have field trips.
Okay, in the interest of time, let's stop.